Every day, something dramatic happens in the Caribbean that affects our lives. We'll give you the details. We'll give you the facts on Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick. Here's Eddie Frederick.
Welcome to Caribbean Perspective. So glad you can join us. The story that takes the lead in today's edition for Friday, 20th December 2024, and brought to you in association with our friends at Antillean Group. Barbados' Parliament observed 1 minute silence for Trinidad and Tobago's MP Lisa Morris-Julian. Details after this important message.
Believe in our strength, we'll stand by you. Protection from all, perils big and small. Reassurance we give, it's so glad to see. Peace of mind, that's our service guarantee. We look after all our family. Yes, we do at every opportunity.
Antillean Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.
Welcome back. Condolences continue to pour in for Minister in the Ministry of Education Lisa Morris-Julian, who perished in a fire at her Farfan Street Arima home along with 2 of her children on December 16th. More in this TTT News item with Segoni Mohammed.
In Barbados, there was a minute of silence at the end of the sitting of Parliament on Tuesday. Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Transport and Works, Santia Bradshaw, gave condolences on behalf of the Parliament and the people of Barbados.
I believe Prime Minister Motley has already expressed condolences, but I think all of us in here understand the nature of this time of year and certainly losing a loved one, and I would want certainly that we can express, and I would do so on behalf of the Leader of the Opposition as well, to be able to express sincere condolences on behalf of the people of Barbados to the families that have been affected by this fire.
Barbados Prime Minister Mia Motley offered her condolences in a post on the social media platform X following the tragic passing of Mrs. Morris-Julian and her children, 25-year-old Cyan and 6-year-old Josiah.
St. Lucia is preparing to submit its third Nationally Determined Contribution, or NDC, a climate action pledge aimed at advancing the Paris Agreement's target to limit global warming to 1.5 degrees centigrade. Miriam Montour of the DBS News World reports.
Nationally determined contributions are a climate pledge that countries submit to the UNFCCC Secretariat every 5 years. NDCs are a key instrument for achieving the goals of the Paris Agreement, which aims to limit global warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels. St. Lucia is in the process of submitting its third NDC.
Climate Analytics is assisting us with this through our NDC Tech project that is being supported by the German government. With our NDCs, we know that our NDC is conditional on obtaining funding support to be able to implement. And we know at the international level that we've fallen short in terms of the funding, but St. Lucia is going to continue to access the funds that are available via, for example, the Green Climate Fund, there is the Adaptation Fund, but there's also the friendly governments like the German government and many others that continue to assist us in this effort.
St. Lucia's first NDC was submitted in 2015. It focused on reducing the island's emissions by 16% by 2025 and 23% by 2030, though St. Lucia hardly contributes to the global greenhouse gas levels. The second NDC, submitted in 2020, spoke to having a 7% reduction relative to the year 2010 by 2030 as well. Though St. Lucia has not been able to implement everything laid out in its NDC, the Ministry of Sustainable Development is taking action and working with partners nationally, regionally, and internationally to reduce emissions.
Our NDC is electricity generation, energy, and transport specifically are our sectors of focus, and hence we have with us entities from energy and transport and finance, important here with us, and economic development, working with us, forestry and so on, working with us, Lucelec, etc., towards that emission reduction, towards an ambitious NDC 3.0.
The Ministry of Sustainable Development has had several consultations with stakeholders prior to the formation of the third NDC. For the DBS News World, Miriam Montoot reporting.
Mark Brantley, leader of parliamentary opposition in the National Assembly in St. Kitts and Nevis, said there needs to be a paradigm shift in the way we think and develop the country. Glenn Bart of SK Newsline reports.
Brantley was addressing the Parliament in his response as leader of the opposition in the National Assembly of St. Kitts and Nevis to the budget address delivered by Minister of Finance, Prime Minister Dr. Terence Drew on Monday, 16th August. The opposition leader called for more progress in starting the marijuana industry as one of the ways to diversify the country's economy.
We need a sustainable economic model, and we have been relying on CBI for so long that I believe that some element of inertia has crept in. We need to say, CBI, we love you. We want to preserve and protect you. We will do what is necessary. We want to add value to you, to create, if you will, within the CBI industry, added value, or value added as I'd call it. I won't go back to that, I've explained that. But we also need to say, tourism, we love you. We're going to encourage you and develop you. We want new hotels. We want all of that. But cannabis, we love you too. We're going to create new jobs. Rasta man who went in jail years ago can now be a businessman and entrepreneur because he knows how to grow marijuana. He understands it. I don't, but he does. Young fella in Nevis, I told you about it before, I'm sure, in this house. Tell me he experimented with different strains. We never know he went to school for agriculture. He's not a, what the word is, a chemist, botanist. We tell me it's TikTok he using. And from TikTok he learning how to do different strains. Young people out there are interested. Let them loose. Let them loose. Create the framework, license, regulate, tax, and let us move on with this thing. You know, I believe on cannabis, the problem that we face, we are fearful. And don't get me wrong. I am not here to suggest that we throw caution to the wind. But while we are fearful, and while we are tentative, and while we don't want to offend anybody, we need to take the step.
Brantley spent substantial time addressing several matters, including those associated with education, manufacturing, security issues, and the recent population census. Glenn Bart reporting for SK Newsline.
You're listening to Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick in association with our friends at
Antillian Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.
During the 2025 budget presentation by Prime Minister Dr. Terence Drew, the Minister of Finance, his announcement confirmed the planned construction start for the St. Kitts Ritz-Carlton Resort Hotel and Residences. Glenn Bart again of SKN Newsline fills us in.
The announcement in the National Assembly came after the successful completion of management agreements between Solidas Corporation, the project developer, and Marriott International Incorporated.
Madam Speaker, I want to announce in this honorable House that St. Kitts and Nevis, I am thrilled to announce that after much negotiations, that after much of putting the right things in place before this announcement is made, that we have brought together a joint press release that we will have here in St. Kitts to start construction in 2025, a brand new Ritz-Carlton Hotel. Lots of jobs for construction and permanent jobs thereafter, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, this is not merely the addition of another hotel. It is a statement of confidence in St. Kitts' future, a catalyst for economic transformation and a testament to the island's limitless potential, Madam Speaker. This world-class development will redefine our tourism product, blending the iconic Ritz-Carlton experience with the unique cultural heritage and natural beauty of St. Kitts, and of course Nevis as well. Its impact will be profound, creating jobs, Madam Speaker. This will affect the economy, and our people will definitely benefit. Madam Speaker, St. Kitts is not just open for business, but ready to lead as a destination of distinction and innovation and opportunity.
The hotel will be constructed on 252 acres of the Fries Bay estate that was purchased from a private owner. According to source information, the resort will include 15 branded condominium residences, 10 branded villas, a luxury spa, beach club, and other amenities. Following geotechnical studies and coastal engineering work, construction of the hotel is expected to begin in the third quarter of 2025, with an anticipated opening in the second quarter of 2028. Glenn Bart reporting for SK Newsline.
Jamaica's cost of living continues to climb, with the latest Consumer Price Index (CPI) for November showing a 1% increase. Rising costs for food, electricity and education are putting pressure on families, with food prices seeing the sharpest jump. Tropical Storm Raphael's impact on agriculture has played a major role also, but inflation remains a concern. CVM's Ramon Gordon reports.
The holidays are here. Hams are secured and sorrel is on the fire. But many families are feeling the pinch as prices climb higher than last year. Jamaica's cost of living rose again in November, with the Consumer Price Index up 1%. Statin points to food prices as the main driver, jumping 2.1%, particularly for vegetables and tubers. That spike follows Tropical Storm Raphael, which dealt a $621 million blow to the agriculture sector.
Despite the shocks happening a couple months ago, there's a lagged effect of those price increases, so those might continue into the new year before they start to temper a little bit with respect to food and ground provisions.
That's economist Keenan Faulkner, who explains that projections indicate inflation will breach the upper limit of the Bank of Jamaica's 4 to 6% target range over the next year before easing.
You'll see a slight uptick, as demand also increases in the economy, more persons are spending. But, as I said, there's a lag effect, so you might start to see a slight uptick, nothing too serious, before it starts to trend down consistently for the rest of 2025.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness has acknowledged the cost of living crisis gripping the island. To ease the burden, the government is modernizing the transport sector and slashing the general consumption tax on electricity. Still, inflation remains a concern, standing at 4.3% year-on-year as of November, with food prices seeing the sharpest rise at 6.4%. Here's the Agriculture Minister back in November.
Flood rains from Tropical Storm Raphael have really come at the worst possible time. Again, unfortunately, we've seen some losses to our banana farmers. Our vegetable farmers, 188 hectares have been destroyed, affected about 1,640 farmers, and legumes, about 38 hectares that have lost about $2.8 million in losses.
Those losses explain the price hikes, but they should stabilize in the coming months, barring any unexpected shocks, of course.
If we want to be able to protect the most vulnerable in society, then tackling inflation has to continue to be the mandate, and building resilience and increasing buffers in terms of climate action is always the best way to go in terms of mitigation, adaptation. That particularly applies to agriculture, water, land, and the environment. So if we can somehow build in those buffers into our agricultural practices, then the shocks will eventually lessen over time.
And while the government promises relief, for some, it can't come soon enough. Ramon Gordon for CVM News.
I am Eddie Frederick, wishing you a restful weekend. This has been Caribbean Perspective, a whole new approach to highlighting developments in the Caribbean.
In the meantime, please follow us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel for daily regional news and more, in association with our friends at Antillian Group.
Believe in our strength, we'll stand by you. Protection from all perils, big and small. reassurance we give. It's so clear to see, peace of mind, that's our service guarantee. We look after all our family, yes we do at every opportunity.
Antillian Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.